Welcome again to another episode of the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History, and this week with one of our witnesses, and that is the witness Dele Morakinyo. A very rich contribution to the Nigerian theatre, having worked with so many great artists. I want to thank you again for coming on the program. Ask our viewers to continue to watch the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History, where we connect you with the things that had gone in the past with those very people who are involved in those things at the time. And the purpose is so that when we are documenting things and putting people who have been participants in the Nigerian theatre in the path of those who want to do documentation, research, and things for the enrichment of the Nigerian theatre. Today, we'll continue of our discussion with Mr. Dele Morakinyo, and we welcome you again. So let's take it from...
Thank you very much. So on my way back, the guy who drove me, who was also not my official driver, I was a production person, was now, Oga, you don't know Baba Latin. I said, how would I know Baba Latin? I said, he's the one reading me now, that this, but instructively. I now found out by then, I think what was my age. But the man was the brand manager who I was marketing the thing to, must be his late 20s or late 30s. So Baba Salah had left the stage long before that kind of. So when we now got back to the studio, my man now called, Oga, come and see Baba. I saw. Don't let me express my opinion. Not that he wasn't doing his own thing, his own way. People were admiring him for whatever it was he was doing. Yes. But I could not have compared him to Baba Salah. So, people who now follow what we are talking
I mean, if there is no connection, that kind of person the manager that you are marketing to, couldn't even fathom who this artist that you are bringing in this costume would be, that he should lay his money on sponsor.
In fact, I'll tell you the truth today, I felt scandalized. Because from my own understanding, seeing Baba Salah male in his costume alone was comedy.
Yeah.
He didn't need to paint his face, he didn't need to speak some give or what do you call the language of
You're right.
But the people was like,
you're right. He was so entrenched in the minds of people in that time that I remember that I recalled on an episode of this program what happened when Drew Ladipo was to be buried. Yeah. He was laid in state at the Trenchard Hall, and Baba Salah had come in. And he didn't say anything, he just came in normal CVs. Yeah. And people were giggling. And somebody approached him, and I heard him say, that in itself, that he spoke that, was seen as high comedy.
Yes.
But the man was serious.
He wasn't wearing any costume.
Once he just said, that itself evoked
laughter.
to laugh.
So that's my own, that was what I took away from that.
That's why this program is important for us. We shouldn't forget the things that we had. The things that we had, the things that people can benefit from.
Yes.
Even today.
No. You see, I'm believing God that one project I started about 4 or 5 years ago, which I think I'll finish, is what I call intimate encounters. My journey through the theater. Is it because I met people that, that newsmakers, impact makers, valuable contributors that one should try to, perpetuate their memory.
Yes. But you are involved with quite a number of directors in film,
sure.
And I want you to talk about that.
Bayo Awala, a respected producer and director, a veteran,
Highly respected.
was producer of Village Headmaster, the longest running soap in 90. Was producer of For Better For Worse. He was involved in films. When films were still being directed by foreign professionals. So he saw my rehearsal the second time. When we found out that after much wahala, the production wasn't likely to come on, I had to travel out of Lagos. Because by then, Ibadan was still my major, my base.
Yeah.
So I came, but by the time I got back, a few days later, when I got back to Lagos, this same Ogadu,
Yes.
Ogadu, informed me that Bayo Awala wanted to see me. I now wondered, who is Bayo Awala? The man who was, I said, he hope nothing. No, he said that, he gave me his address. In Bariga, I went to him. Bayo said, now described the residence of Uncle Jabadu. We call all of them Uncle. No, Mr. No. Uncle Jabadu, and I went to Uncle Jabadu's house. This man we never met before. Why could he, would he want to see me? So when I got there, I introduced myself. His car was being repaired outside by mechanic. Oh, you don't need Dele Morakinyo? I said, yes. Bayo spoke well about you. That I want to go on location in Abeokuta to record. That Bayo said, you are the one who want to be his assistant director, artistic director. One, I felt honored. Two, I had nothing doing against since my production collapsed. So I could not ask for a letter of employment. I didn't even ask for how much I was going to be paid. They just told me when to be ready, that I would be picked up. And that was how we went on location in the OGTV in Abeokuta. We used their studios for interior and did outside shoots.
Yes.
As on the turning wheel. The turning wheel was the program that we were there for about up to 3 to 6 months. Was being taken good care of. We were anywhere, being fed well, even being served tea in the course of production. The production employed the caterer, and we were just, in fact, they were supplying us sugar and milk on a weekly basis. They were supplying us toilet roll.
Things that you use.
So
for personal
we had nothing, no stress. The vehicle will come and pick you in the room, take you to the studio, bring you they will bring lunch. You eat breakfast. If we didn't have an early morning shoot, if you had early morning shoot, breakfast would be brought to your location. Lunch automatically brought on location. If we are going to shoot into the night, dinner will be brought on the location. So that on its own was a lesson I learned, that if you want to get the best
out of your
artists, you have to give them
take good care of them.
Yes.
Take good care of them.
Yes. You, even when at times, because I would take the rehearsals while Lonkuba was plotting the camera and shots. So no matter how tired you could be, in the morning when they knock your door, you are ready to stand up. Because what would you say
was
your problem?
Stopping you.
You are giving a bed to yourself. Maybe I think you were 2 or 2 of us in a room, or was I the only one? So there was no problem for you. Had nothing.
Yes.
You know. So then working with these elderly people, Femi Jarrett, Ilya Inakimio, Solomon Ayagere, this Baba, I've forgotten his name. All these people were people I was hearing about. I was reading newspaper, because I've been reading newspaper for God knows how long. I was reading their reviews of their performances and production. So for me
and these were live before.
Oh, sure, yes. Buki Ajayi.
Yes.
That I later learned was Taiwo Ajayi.
Yes.
Ikeme Modi. Look, it was
star-studded.
a wonder. So. Yeah. And they all
star-studded. People were making waves.
They all took directions from me as the assistant to the director. Could not but enjoy the confidence that you picked up along the road. If I could, Jabadu had a saying that any artist that Mr. Morakinyo does not know, maybe it doesn't have to be known. Because once I read the script, I already knew from my past experience.
Yes.
I already knew who will fit what role and so on. So when they say, who could be this, I've just mentioned the name, and anybody who knew the fellow will immediately agree, yes. Yeah. So it got to a point that Uncle Jackson said, if Dele does not know the person, that maybe it's not the person
where you were participating in that show with all those great names.
Yes, that was the Turning Wheel. The Turning Wheel. It was, the theme was actually sort of something that encourages doing good. But because we are human beings, an infraction, there must be a repercussion.
Yes.
So that in it, the essence of the theme of the turning wheel is a situation where the wheel turns round,
it must continue to
where
turn.
you have defrauded, you have embezzled, in the end you find yourself in jail. Or,
natural progression.
Yes. So we're there, and we had the production. The studio was new then. In fact, interestingly, it was so chilled because it was, newly built. That's OGTV studios then. That were taking time to say we want to go outside for solar energy because inside, and they will tell you they could not reduce nor switch it off because it was meant for the engine, not for you. So you have to go outside, and those who are smoking will smoke, take sunlight, then you come back. Then another thing that took me to Abeokuta later, and then to other Jos, Enugu, Lagos, was another production this time by Albert Egbe. Albert Egbe also an actor, an artist. Mr. B was character in Bassi and Co. A soap by Ken Saro-Wiwa, yes, the environment activist who was executed by government.
Yes.
But his own production, also directed by Bayo Awala, who had virtually adopted me as his assistant, was Jaguar Nana's daughter. Jaguar Nana's daughter was written as a sequel to Jaguar Nana by Cyprian Kwesi. So that too took us to Jos, took us to Lagos, took us to Enugu, recording various external, shots that related to those, natural environment in which we went to record.
Yes.
That was with that show. We had Dele Mabiaku, a musician, but also a fine actor. We had, there was this Mrs. Egbe's wife. She was Miss Nigeria. She was a beauty queen. I forgot her name now. Was on the cast. These are people, when we got to a particular community, Ihe, I think was the name of the community, where there were father snakes crawling all over the place.
I've heard of
they must not be killed, and they were not biting anybody. I can imagine what it took us to get that lady. She was based in the UK. She was actually brought in to take part, to act that role in the need for that project.
On that note, we will end today's episode with Mr. Dele Morakinyo.
Thank you very much.
That note of that affirmation of his contribution, of his capacity in the theater, is a good point for us to go into the last episode that we'll have with Mr. Morakinyo. Again, before we go, I'd like to remind you that this is the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History on the Tunde Laniyo podcast. And we've been speaking over the last couple of weeks with Dele Morakinyo, who has traversed the Nigerian theatre in many dimensions and is still doing so. Next week, as we go into our last episode, I want to ask you to continue watching, liking, and sharing the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History on the Tunde Laniyo podcast. We will be very happy to have your comments. Share with other people and press the icon of subscription so that you can have a notification for every new episode that we bring. Until then, it's bye.